Hey guys, how's it going? It has been a while since I posted a prophetic word, but I'm hopping on, and of course, I'm working. But I have a bit of a break, so I'm hopping on with the prophetic word. I've been busy getting things together, running around, doing a lot of projects, but the Lord definitely gave me a prophetic word, and I wrote it this morning. And yeah, usually it's like I have time to let it sit and marinate. But this one, we're just going to flow and we're just going to go. Hey, Joyce, how's it going? Another prophetic word. It's been a while since I posted a prophetic word, but I've been doing the fast, the Daniel fast. And so I've been like busy with our fast and everything. But I heard this one as clear as day. It just came to me so many ways. Lord speaks to me in a lot of different ways. So it was just coming from everywhere. So I know it's like when I get hit with multiple ways that he speaks to me, I know that I need to go on, because this word, what he's telling me is that people are becoming weary. People are like, when am I going to see it? When is it going to happen? People have been working on things, projects, things that he's been telling people to do, and they have been sitting and waiting and saying, Lord, when is it going to happen? Lord, you told me that this would happen. Lord, you told me that this would happen. Okay, I'm waiting, Lord. It's been 3 months. It's been 6 months. It's been 1 year. It's been 2 years. When is it happening? And so that's usually when he sends me. I'm the person, he uses me like a little light bulb to come in and just increase faith, and a light bulb to come in and just get people to be encouraged. And that's just how he uses me. You guys will see, I don't pop up a lot. I only pop up when he tells me to pop up. I'm not someone who gets a lot of prophetic words and just pops on and prophesies. But usually if he's sending me to say, my people need to be encouraged. My people need their faith increased. My people need to know that I'm going to come through and provide. And so that's what I feel this word focuses on. That it's on knowing that he is still working behind the scenes, knowing that you can still depend and know that he will provide and come through. I feel like there's people who have followed him, and this is what I'm getting just from what he's told me, what he's shown me. People who have followed him, started a business, Lord told you to do it, and you're just sitting here like, okay, I did this, you told me this would happen, you told me I would have abundance, you told me that if I left my job, you would provide, you told me that if I did this would happen. And I feel like it's whoever I'm speaking to, someone left their job for it. They had to let things go. I feel a strong whoever it's for, like I feel like someone had to leave something. They had to leave a job, they had to leave something, and they had to stand and just trust him to provide. And I feel like that's for who this is for. It's someone who has really been waiting, someone who has really been leaning on him and needing him to come through. Well, this is for you. I mean, it's for multiple people, but I feel like it's those people who have been waiting and just sitting and waiting, and their faith is low. It's like, if we look at a battery, it's the low battery right now. So we'll get started from there. And so this all stemmed from me. The Lord started showing me my post from last year. Just posts from me in the past, like in the last year, what he has been able to do in my life. And it was like, for me, back in September of last year, I was broken, I was lost, I was confused, I didn't know what was going on, I was wandering through life. And just, he was basically highlighting it to me to get me to a point to let people know, like, I can turn things around instantly. I can do things suddenly. I can make a way out of no way. And so he has been showing me where I was last year, because I forgot. But he was saying, at this point last year, this is where you were. At this point last year, you were still wandering. You were still confused. You were still lost. And so he came in and he was basically showing me, like, no, I can turn things around quickly. I can turn things around suddenly. I can make things happen. And so, that's where he started out. And I made the post that said, God turned my life around in only 1 year. He can and will do the same for you. And so then he kept showing me like things about turning it around. So Ty Tribbett, I was minding my business and the song was just like in my head. I go on YouTube and Ty Tribbett, he turned it, was on my main homepage on YouTube. So I'm like, okay, he turned it. So, how he turned it around, he turned things over. So he kept telling me, turned it. And so then we had the fast. we had the 10-day Daniel fast. And the way that he turned things around in that fast, like, people had doors open. The enemy was coming in, making them feel defeated, like they couldn't fight. And the Lord would tell me, go pray. And I'll go pray. And he would just, they would come back instantly like, man, I feel relief. I feel like all I want to do is serve the Lord. I feel like all I want is him. Instantly, suddenly, like, shifted and changed. And I see we have some of my girls from the 10-day fast on here. Like, they'll tell you it was a quick turnaround in only 10 days. Other people who have been in toxic relationships for years, and the Lord will say, go pray or go do this or say this. And they, filing for divorce, coming out of things quickly, like a sudden turnaround. And so he kept highlighting to me, like, look at how I moved in that fast. Like, the way that those women were able to have such progress in such short amount of times. We had people who had a strained relationship with their kids. Like, their daughter was just not listening, drugs, all of this, fasting and prayed. And her daughter came in and said, Mom, I apologize. I'm sorry. Like, swift turnaround. Like, he turned things around so quickly. So what he's saying is like, for people who have been waiting, for people who have been nervous, for people who have been thinking like the Lord will not provide, he sent me to say, I want to show you, use these examples to show people how I can turn things around quickly. They may be sitting here waiting and expecting, but I can do things suddenly. And so he led me to Isaiah 48:3. Long ago, I told you what was going to happen. Then suddenly I took action and all my predictions came true. So I was minding my business. I was going through the Bible and I landed here. And so, I told you what would happen. So he told you what he would do. He told you what would happen. But I feel like it's all about, and I say this all the time, it's about faith. So I always tell him, Lord, where's my faith right now? He showed me my faith, and you guys will watch my other video. Like, he said my faith was at 150%. Like, on a scale of 1 to 100, it was at 150%. And that is what he wants for us. Like, in order for him to do the impossible, he has to, we need to believe that he can do the impossible. And I'm going to skip around from what I have written because I was talking to one lady this weekend, and the Lord gave another song. And it was like, you guys ever watch Brandy and Whitney Houston, Cinderella Story? So as I'm like talking to her, she's like, yeah, I receive it. I receive that. And the song is going off in my head. And I'm hearing, impossible for playing, like, that song is in my head. So I go back and I play it. For my YouTube people, I'm going to put this on YouTube. I'm going to put the link in the description because you guys need to listen to it. But that song, if you listen to that song, like, that will increase your faith. Because, and one thing he highlighted is that it's possible. Things are happening every day. Like, those are the lyrics in that song. And so he used that song to increase my faith. And so I say, if you guys haven't listened to it, if you haven't heard it in a while, honestly, that song, Impossible, Brandy and Whitney Houston, he talks, like, that song focuses on going from impossible. Like, you are in this business, you started the business, you left your job, you left the relationship, you were expecting a kingdom partner, you were expecting abundance, you were expecting God to come through, you were expecting healing. And it seems impossible right now. Like, you are sitting in a place where it's just like, this is impossible. I don't see how this can happen. Lord, you're telling me it's about to happen, but I just don't see it. I don't see how this is going to come to pass. I don't see how my business is going to take off. I don't have anyone coming and wanting to join it. Like, I feel like that is who this is for. It's for those people who feel as if nothing has changed, nothing is happening. But that song, she went from saying it's impossible to looking at where she was and having her faith increase and saying it's possible. So that's what he wants us to do right now. Like, he needs us to shift and say, you know what? It is possible. Because again, if you were in that fast that we were in, it was quick. It was, the women had results. And I'm telling you, like, they came out of this fast not knowing their purpose. Coming out of the fast like, I know my purpose. God showed me my purpose. I know what I'm supposed to do. Clarity. He used that to show me that how quick he could turn things around, how quickly things can shift and change. And I believe it because I didn't know what to expect in the fast, number one. But it was a quick turnaround and people are on track. I see people posting pictures, reading their Bible. Like, they stay in the chat and they're talking about how it's just a fire for him. And so, let me see, Misty, you speak. I feel like I'm supposed to read this. You're speaking to me because that's where I'm at. Yeah, Misty, like, it's the people who just have been waiting and you've just been sitting and it's just like, don't know Or Kendra, yeah, it's like you have the promises spoken over you. You've had prophetic words spoken over you, and you're just like, when is it happening? And you know, for people who've been obedient, you're like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I've been obedient. I'm following you, Lord. And it's just, when is it happening? Like, just know, he showed me, he used so many things to get this to me. And this scripture just stood out. When I heard this, then suddenly I took action and all my predictions came true. Like, it's a sudden action. Like, you're not even going to expect it. Like, and that's what I feel like it's like. Like, for me, when he comes through for me, it's like, I don't expect it. I just like, I'll go do it. And then I'll look and it's like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. Like, that's how it's going to be. It's going to be unexpected. Things are going to happen unexpectedly. Things will just be quick. Yeah, quick. And I have this written down somewhere else. I feel like that's key. It's going to be quick. And it's going to be suddenly and unexpected. So you won't know when it's going to come. We may think and know. And I think someone said God's timing. Yes, it's his timing. But it's going to be quick. It's going to be suddenly. And it's going to be unexpected. So I feel like that's really important. Oh, see, I even wrote it in my notes. I don't even remember. God is saying things are going to begin happening quickly. Yes, capital letters, quickly. So yeah, he's spoken over it. And he also used this movie to go into kingdom marriages for people who, and I know it's not everyone, but some people who may be on my page or definitely on my YouTube. YouTube is I have a large group of people, YouTube family, who are expecting a kingdom marriage and waiting on it. So I'm just going to put it here because I know there's some people on my page as well when it comes to kingdom marriages. But he used it. There's a part in the song where Brandy is singing and she's just singing this song out. But as she's singing it, her, later husband is singing the same exact song as her. And she's talking about how there's a love out there that she's waiting for. And he's singing the same exact thing. And there's a love out there that he's waiting for. Then they get to a point where they're singing it together and then they meet. And so God is saying that that's how it's going to be. You think that you're just sitting here and it's not happening. The kingdom spouse is not coming. You've just been waiting and just sitting here. But little do you know is that your kingdom partner is still singing that same exact song that you're singing. He's still expecting you like you're expecting, or she's still expecting you if you're male, vice versa, whatever. But they were basically doing the exact same thing. And then they started to do it together and then they met. So he was basically using this movie to show how these marriages will be. Like, even when they met, it was a connection. When they met, they connected to each other. When they met, they had things in common. When they met, like in the movie, they both talk about like being sheltered or something like that. But it was that connection. It was an instant connection when they met and they knew it and they were together. So for people who are waiting on their kingdom marriage, this is for you as well. He's saying that it will be quick, it will be suddenly. Don't think that you are the only person you're waiting. Like, your partner or your spouse is still doing the same exact thing. They're waiting as well. So don't get discouraged on that either. And then this, I actually had this written down in my prayer room, and I was about to go live, and I went in my prayer room, and it was just sitting there. And I don't even remember writing this. It was just sitting right there, so I know he wants me to say it. It says persevere. For whoever this is for whoever feels like they want to give up, for whoever feels like they've been waiting forever, for whoever feels like it's never going to happen. I feel like this is for that person. This whole entire word is for a lot of people, but it's for that person who just feels as if it's not happening. It won't happen. It will never happen. There's no way it can happen. But I'm telling you, I walked into my prayer room and this was right there. I didn't even have this plan, but I wrote this at some point. I don't even remember, but I'll read it. So it just says in capital letters, persevere. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. For in just a little while, he who is coming will come and will not delay. So that's Hebrews 10:36-37. So, it can be a kingdom spouse, that husband that you're waiting for, that wife that you're waiting for. It can be healing, whatever you're expecting God to do. It could be your business becoming a thriving business. Like, it could be abundance. It could be a new job, a new car. You may not have a car, you need a car. Whatever it is, it's all about persevering. It's all about pushing through. It's all about passing the test. It's all about waiting on God and knowing that he will come through for you. I feel like that is the biggest thing. It's like knowing he will come through. It may not be right now, but he will. And I'm telling you guys, like, this was just there. I don't even know when I wrote. Like, I have no idea where it's like. Anyway, things like this happen to me. Like when I come up with prophetic words, like this is what happens. Like sometimes I'll have visions, but sometimes it'll just be things like this where I'm writing it out, but then this will pop up out of nowhere. So, and it blows my mind still sometimes. But keyword, underline, you need to persevere. Don't give up. I know some people are waiting. I know some people are just sitting here and it's like, Lord, I'm doing your work. I'm doing what you told me to do. I am going out there. I am trying my hardest. I don't see any progress, but persevere and he will come through. And I feel led to say this, that I feel a very, very strong shift happening in January. Something about January, not just for me, but for a lot of people, and I've been hearing this from people as well. January is going to be a shift. And I don't know what it is yet. I need to go deeper on that. But just know, January is about to be big for his people. Like, it's going to be, I don't know. Again, I need to go deeper in this part. I've been busy getting things together. But if you are a business owner, he's really been talking about structure for me. Like, and I'm going to say this for my business people because I feel like it's important. He has really been working on me with structure in my business, making sure things are set up, making sure, and I say this all the time, but like right now, to get things together, like I always say structure in a business, but I feel there is a very strong push for me, and I've been spending a lot of time doing this, making sure I'm able to keep track of what's happening in my business, making sure my money flows the correct way, making sure I have the right things set up so that when the increase and the abundance comes, that I have all of it set up and ready. If you are writing a book, making sure that you are writing the book, making sure you're researching and looking things up and you know what's to come, because in January, there is a shift happening, like flat out. I can feel it. And I'm always right, because sometimes I'm doing something. Like right now, I've been doing that Daniel fast, but I know he's told me not to go and run it as like I did in January, because I know a shift is coming, because I don't know. It's just, I can just feel it. I can feel that something different is coming in January. But I know I'm doing a Daniel fast in December for sure. But something is coming in January. Just make sure you guys are writing those books, wrapping up those projects, doing those things that he told you to do. I'll probably come back. I don't know. I thought I wouldn't have another prophetic word this year, but I guess he wanted me to post this one. But I'm going to put this back up because whoever needs it, persevere. Don't give up. Don't stop doing what you're doing. I don't care if you are running your business and not one person is liking it, the comment, not one person is signing up, not one person is joining a free challenge. Just keep doing it, because you're doing, what does it say? That when you have done the will of God, because you are doing what he told you to do. You're being obedient, and that's key. Stay obedient. And I don't care, like, because at the time, his appointed time, like, it will happen, and you will have all those things in place. You have done the training. You've done the practice. Like, for me, I feel like a lot of what he had me do was practice. It was to get ready. It was to prepare. It was to get me where I need to be for the time that he needs me to be there. So learning and challenges and groups and fast and all of that stuff that he's been having me doing was to prepare me. So all of that, whoever feels as if they're just doing it, is preparation. Preparation for when it happens. So don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because it's coming. And just know January is something. I don't know what it is. I'm going to find out. So I'm going to go back to comments. Confirmation about what I asked. Yeah, Kendra, he speaks to me, to you through me a lot. So I agree. I don't know what I said, but I agree. I receive it. Amen. Thank you. I got these shirts. And see, when you work with God, this shirt was like $40 and it was on sale for $7. I pray before I go shopping and I say, Lord, allow me to find a deal when I go shopping, because I want to save money. And this shirt was $40 and it was $7, and I bought it in all colors. You've probably seen it black and brown as well if you watch my videos. So yes, I will pray before I do just about anything. Also, my son's coat. It was a $75 coat and it was on sale for $20 when I went. So if you don't pray before shopping and that you attract great deals, I recommend doing it. Same way about January. I've been hearing January for days. Yeah, something about January, guys. So again, I just want to hop on. I try not to do too long, but let's see if I missed anything. Yeah. I just know. Remember, if you don't take anything impossible to it's possible. Like when you get down, when you get sad, just think about this little post, this little index card, persevere, and listen to that song, Impossible, because it is possible about marriage. Yeah, Kendra, yeah, the kingdom marriages are coming as well, but it's also about preparing and being prepared, because I feel like he has been getting everyone ready. Like some of them are coming to pass, but there's like phases that he's doing it. So there's phases to where he's rolling it out. But it's like, if we know and you know God has spoken to you, and I think right before I went on, one of the ladies talked about marriage, but if he's spoken to you about it, he's more than likely told you to do some things to prepare for marriage. Whatever it is, making sure those things are in place so that you don't delay things. But yeah, Kendra, that's exciting. I'm excited for you. But yeah, those kingdom marriages, I know that you have like that fire. Like I can tell and I can see that that's something that he probably has said to you, because usually when he's going to send people out together, and it just two is better than one type of thing. So it's more power coming in if you have someone else that's doing it with you. And I see you as like part of his like remnant. So yeah, I agree. I would definitely like listen and pray into that, so that, and even praying for your spouse now, like if you feel he's telling you that you will get married, like praying for your spouse now, because they're probably going through warfare and being hit with attacks, because the enemy doesn't want these kingdom marriages to come to pass anyway. So they're probably getting attacked. They're probably wanting to give up as well. So praying for them now before you guys even get together will help. And also you'll be in the habit of praying for them. Even if you don't know them, but just praying for them, it'll get you in the habit. You're praying, like even if you say for 30 days, I'm going to pray for my future husband. Pray for him for 30 days. You'll get in the habit of praying for him, and then just praying for certain things that you would like to have in a husband. Like I pray that he's caring. I pray that he is not selfish. I pray that he, whatever it is, those qualities that you would like to see, you're praying to God so that, you know, God is working on your behalf. But I definitely recommend praying for your future husband now. I've been praying for a while. Yeah, so keep praying for him, because you got to think, like, if we get hit with attacks and we get that warfare where it's like, man, what's happening? You know, men are usually, the enemy is going to come for the men. Like, that's why men are out of the households. That's why men are, you know, when we have house, like, he comes for the man, because if he can come for the man, then he could take the whole, you know, unit down. She said, get out. You know, look, I hear that a lot, like, get out of my journal. I just say what I hear, like this, you know me. I don't know what I'm saying most of the time. People will come to me afterwards like, do you remember when you said it? No, I do not. I don't know what when I get off of this, I don't know what I said. I don't even remember what I said right now. It's not me. How will we prepare for a kingdom marriage? Going from what you said, I know you said pray. Well, for me, I feel like it depends on the person. When it comes to preparing for a kingdom marriage, depends on where you are. And the Holy Spirit will lead you and guide you on the things that you need to do. So, you know, if you are someone who doesn't cook, maybe you'll feel more led to cook. If you're someone who may be a little bit messier, you may feel led to organize things. Like, Holy Spirit will lead you and guide you. But also prayer. Like, we as women are meant to, like, cover them in prayer and be their covering. Same thing, they're meant to be our covering as well. But it's about warfare, being able to pray for them, being able to cover them, being able to, you know, intercede for them, things like that. Like, that's the simple things that you could start doing now. But as you get closer and the Lord starts to work on you, like, you'll know those things that you need to work on. And maybe even those things that your husband may pray for you, like, it'll just start happening with you, and you'll want to do certain things where it's like, this isn't really me, but where this coming from, the Holy Spirit will lead you to start doing those things. But if you feel that you are not as effective when it comes to praying, like, I feel like praying is a big one, because when the enemy comes and attacks and he tries to attack your husband, like, I feel like you need to be able to come in and pray. Kind of like a lioness and a lion. Like, the lioness does a lot of work. The lion may sit around and he's a little bit more lazy and stuff, but the lioness is the one that's out there hunting. She's the one out there going for gazelles and stuff like that. Like, she's the strong, bold one. I feel like if you look at lions and lioness, like, the lioness is the one that people are more than likely afraid of, because she's the hunter and she's the one going out really taking that stuff down. So I think prayer is the biggest thing. If you are just like, you feel led, like you will be like I know kingdom marriage or any marriage like that, to pray. Honestly, for me, I think being able to really pray is a big one to just start out with, and then the Holy Spirit will get to kind of groom you into it. I always think I'm going to struggle because I'm so headstrong, and I don't know if I can have a man that is more calm than me. I'm very dominant. I used to be very dominant too. Is that Deshariel? Yeah. So for me, that was one of those things that had to be worked in me. Like, I was a very dominant woman. I was a very aggressive. Not so much aggressive, but I was dominant. Like, independent. I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody's help. I can do this by myself. But that was something that had to be worked out of me to say no. Like, reading the Bible, reading Ruth, reading about being submissive, that comes with time. And it wasn't overnight, honestly. In all of my previous relationships, I was very headstrong, very dominant. I have my own money. I'm boss. Like, that's how I was. So if that's how you feel, trust me, it'll start to break off of you. Like, I became more patient. I'm a lot more patient now. I'm a lot more calm and peaceful now. I'm going to say peaceful, quite honestly. But all of that came, when I say after Holy Spirit came in and started to kind of groom me, it came with time. So trust me, I was definitely very dominant. So just know that it happens and it will come. It just takes some time. I just don't know. I don't have time. Once you mess up, that's it. I'm not going to fight it. I have to work on that. And you also need to think about, if we do it God's way, we are, sometimes we try to make our own decisions. And usually, if you are wanting to do it God's way, then all of that is going to be worked out in that whole process of you becoming. Like, that's where they say, like, you are a wife before you become a wife. Because you're going to let go of the relationships that you were in. You're going to let go of the things that you were already doing, because when you want to do it God's way, you know that you're doing it the right way. Like, if we were starting a business and we partner with God, we know that it will thrive because God is behind it and we partner with him. So if we're saying, this is what I want to do a relationship God's way, we know that he's going to work all of that out. Now, you may be single for some time. You may need to wait for some time. But at the end, it's going to be worth it, because God is going to make sure all of the little loose ends are tied. He's going to make sure that he works on you. He's going to make sure he works on the man. And, I don't think that when you do it God's way, it's not as likely for it to end in, oh, this person made a mistake and I'm just done. Because then he's working patience in us. Like I mentioned before, I'm way more patient. So it's that patience that he's working in. It's that all of that is being worked in that time while you're single. And it's that season of being single. Like, if you really are serious about your season of singleness, then you will be prepared and you wouldn't need to worry too much about it, because you were prepared during that season of singleness. So just know, don't worry too much. Like, really, if you want to do it God's way, listen, I'm only 22. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think that there's an age. Like, I've seen God put people together at 22, 23, 30, 35. Like, I think that it's more so about really doing that work, that inner work of being healed from the past relationships, healed from everything that happened to you, kind of like going through that and allowing him to, like, get you where you need to be, so that it is a success. Like, he doesn't want us to have an unsuccessful marriage and, putting us in a place where it will be successful because we prepared ahead of time and we were a wife or a husband before we were even a wife. So, yeah, if you're 22, he could, in 1 year, like I mentioned before, he did a lot in my life in 1 year. So, you never know with God. If that's what he wants to do it with you, by all means he can. Like, for me, I went from being broken and sad and depressed and anxious to him starting this whole ministry and having me going out and doing prophetic words and helping women heal in 1 year, literally, from 2019 to 2020. It's a complete 180, a complete turnaround with me. So you never know. Things could change in 1 year for sure. You have to know our purpose before marriage. I think for me, knowing your purpose it stops you from getting so wrapped up in the person. Because sometimes if you don't know your purpose and you don't know what you're called to do, you don't know why you're on the earth, that person can become like an idol. Like, that's what I look at it as. Like, if you don't know your purpose and who you are and what you were called to do and all of that, then that is very likely for that person to be an idol, because you are just going to follow what they're doing and you don't really know why you were created and all of this. Like, it gets messy. For me, when you are someone who knows your purpose, knows what you're supposed to do in life, you are more likely to say, this is who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm created. Like, there's no that wandering and trying to figure things out is less likely in those situations. So I always say, like, when you know your purpose, you're going in, you're two whole people coming together. Like, you know, if you've already healed, if you've already gone through your hurt and your pain and your trauma and all of that, you know your purpose, then you have two whole people coming together as one. And I feel it's way more success in relationships, you know, when it's done that way. But for me, I feel like that's when he's bringing people together. Like, let no man part what God has put together. Like, when it is God behind the scenes and he's bringing it together, then you just know. You know it. You feel it. There's no question. There's peace. Like, you just know. So, for me, personally, I say purpose is a big deal because you are who you are. You know who you are. You know why you were created. There is no question. Same with me. Hello. Oh, hey, Riri, how's it going? I'm going to message you about something. Yeah, that's fine. I hope I'm saying your name right. Deshariel. I like that, Deshariel. True. I'm so thankful that you're speaking about this. I just got out of a terrible relationship where he was cheating on me for a very long time. God was with me last night, and this guy tried coming back at 3 a.m. Yep. That's how it usually goes. The enemy was fighting hard, and you coming on today was his perfect timing. God is so good. Yep. So, you know, when you are in those relationships that toxic, it's like when God wants to elevate you, he'll send a person. When the enemy wants to set you back, he'll send a person. So sometimes you need to ask, who sent you? Who sent this person? Did this person come from God, or did this person come from the enemy? Because if it comes from the enemy, that person is going to distract you. They're going to keep you away from God. If you're trying to build your relationship with God and get closer with him, anyone sent by the enemy is going to deter you. It's going to take you backwards. The person who's sent by God is going to bring you closer to God. It's going to bring you closer to him. But if you feel as if, you know, him calling you at 3 a.m., coming back at 3 a.m., like, why is he calling you at 3 a.m.? What does he want at 3 a.m.? You know, like, that's my thing. Like, if it's 3 a.m., what are we talking about? So that's a red flag for me. It's like, if you are calling me at 3 a.m., if you are only trying to communicate with me at night, are you the one God has for me? Because I don't think God is going to send me someone who just wants to talk to me at 3 a.m. or just pops up like that. Like, that's how I take it. If the conversations are going way more sexual and it's like, well, you are taking me away from God. I'm trying to go closer to God. And these conversations are taking me backwards. So that's how I look at it. And that's a great way to gauge it for anyone who's confused. Like, if those conversations are 10, 11, 12-ish, it's getting kind of, what's up with me and you, like, I'm usually like, red flag alert, like, this is going to take me further away from God. This is not going to bring me closer to him. You know, so I use that as my radar to see if this person is from God, from the enemy. Quite honestly, if it's going there, then that means that that's all you try to look for, and it's probably not from God. So that's, yeah. But I'm glad that this helped, because again, you know, at first it wasn't even about kingdom marriages. It wasn't even about relationships. But then I know he told me, I couldn't stop watching that scene. And I knew it was him telling me, like, focus on that. Look at what's happening in the scene, because I kept watching it. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I know that scene in that movie, and I'm going to put the link to the movie. The movie is on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube as well. But that scene stood out, and he spoke to me through that scene to show, like, this is how it's going to happen. When you do meet that person, it's going to be that connection. You'll just know. So yeah, I'm glad that this helped Nora, because, you know, we do need to have these conversations to say, this is what like a godly relationship should look like. This is what we should look for. If this person is doing this, probably not from him. Again, if it's taking you away from God, that's not the one. Because if I'm seeking him and you are taking me away from him, that's not it. It's going good, working on schoolwork. Oh, sounds good. I know you're writing your book too, so watch it back, because I know you were working on that. So just know he is turning some things around right now. I am a woman of God, can't be in another toxic. Yeah. So yeah, those toxic relationships, they hold us back. They hold us back from who we're created and supposed to be. When we are stuck in those toxic relationships, it's keeping us away from who we're supposed to be with. Like, if you are stuck in a relationship with someone that you are not supposed to be with, like, think about the person that you are supposed to be with. Like, watch out, Gabriel. It's wasting time. It's wasting our time when we stay stuck in relationships that we know we're not supposed to be in. We know that the relationship is toxic. Sometimes it can turn around, but I mean, maybe for me, it's like, okay, well, I need to go and see and leave this so that I can see where I am, because we start to lose ourselves in those toxic relationships. We get confused. We don't know what's happening. We think things are acceptable, and when it's not, like, it throws us off to say, okay, well, it happened this time, but it won't happen. Like, we begin to say that it's acceptable when we know deep down inside it's not acceptable. So that's just how I feel. Right, water. How do you feel about when you get dreams, visions about the person? I mean, you don't know who the person is until you guys are together. So let's just say the potential person. So sometimes, from what I've heard, like, some people, when it comes to kingdom marriages, I know some people have said this person has been under my nose the entire time. They just didn't know at that time. God will send you dreams. Sometimes you also need to know if it's from the Lord, if it's from the enemy, like, but he will send you dreams to let you know, to speak to you. But we also need to think that when God gives us a dream, those are his plans. Gabriel, not so much coming. So a dream is his plan. So a dream will tell us his plan, you know. So if that is his plan for your life, you will get a dream where he's showing you, this is what's going to happen. This is who. I mean, you may not know who, but he may be just telling you the plan for your life to let you know that you will get married. I know for me, I did have dreams in the beginning. A lot of my prophetic words on kingdom marriages were based on dreams. And so I had to go to him in prayer, like, Lord, can you help me interpret this dream? Can you give me clarity? Can you lead me to scripture? Like, you know, and he would lead me back into Ruth. Like, I would go into Ruth, or I would go into Genesis. Like, I would go back to Adam and Eve when I would ask him for clarity on those dreams. He would send me back to Adam and Eve and talk about ribs. And I would go into that to know, like, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So a lot of it is going back to him and saying, Lord, I need clarity on the dream, and allowing him to lead you from there. Because for me, I was confused in the beginning, like, why am I getting all these dreams? What's going on? Like, but I went back to him, and he would lead me in scripture to show me the plan and kind of teach me about kingdom marriages. That's why I've been able to talk about it now, because he would just teach me and guide me from my dreams. Yeah, this is a good point. Does it bring me closer? Yeah. So Stephanie, like, when you meet those people, that's the first thing. Like, and I'll tell people, like, this relation, I mean, this, the way you talk is not, this is not, no. Like, I could cut you off very fast, because I know that you are not going to bring me closer to God talking to me like this. Like, I know that if we were to go deeper into this, like, this is not going to be good for me. If God wants to use me, and he wants me to keep seeking him, like, as soon as I agree with it, it is a distraction. And anything that distracts us, like, I don't have time to get distracted. But if that relationship distracts you, then that's not a good thing. Distracts you from what God wants you to do. If it's a distraction, no, like, I don't have time to get distracted. I have too many things God wants me to do and has called me to do to be with someone who distracts me. But if that person brings you closer, if that person is really getting you closer to him, then, and not just faking it, really having fruit so that you know that this person is going to bring you closer to God, then that's something that you really want to look at. They can't fake it for too long either. So another thing is, even if they try to fake it, they can't fake it for very long periods of time. So just know that it'll eventually, like, the mask will come off eventually, and they won't be able to fake it anymore after a while. Yeah, don't let your boyfriend keep you from your husband. That's true. Like, don't let your boyfriend or anybody else keep you from your husband, like, because it's blocking it. You could be doing so much more. You could be working on yourself. You could be developing yourself. You could be learning your purpose and going into everything that God has for you, but you're just stuck. And then you may have unforgiveness. You're so mad at this person. You're arguing all the time. You're distracted. All of that just comes, from that. Like, it's like one little thing, it's like a ripple effect. Like, all of it. I know for me, I can speak from experience. Like, I would be in a relationship, but we're arguing. So I'm arguing. I'm going back and forth with you. I'm not focused on other things. My energy, I'm feeling drained. Like, I can speak a lot on relationships. I've been through a lot in relationships, but then you start to get drained, and then it's just like, so, yeah, all of that goes together. Yep. So, yeah, and that's the biggest thing. It's like, we have to know who we are. We have to see ourselves as queens so that we don't settle for anything. So that we don't get to a point where it's just like, oh, I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be alone. So I don't want to leave this relationship because then I'm going to be by myself and then I'm going to be bored. And then, like, quite honestly, like, the last year was really about me knowing me. Like, I learned so much about myself. I learned who I am. I learned what I like, what I don't like, what I will accept, what I won't accept. Like, I became like a better version of me in my season of singleness because it was necessary. Like, I had dated somebody's son from 15 to 30. I literally was probably single for a year for 15 years. Like, and so I'm 31 now, but from 15 to 30, I was literally always with someone because I had a void. I felt like I needed someone. I felt like I had to have a guy around me to be complete. Like, I would always be in a relationship, and that's what sometimes happens to us. Like, we want to be with someone, and then we never know who we are because we're always with someone. Like, if you're always with someone, you don't know you don't know who you are. So it's about taking that time to say, you know what, I feel like God is calling me out of this relationship. I feel like God is telling me to leave this. Let me leave this and let me find out who I am. Let me heal myself. Let me let go of all of my unforgiveness, the pain, the hurt, the trauma from the past. Let me let it go and let me work on me. And so that at a point in time, at the time when God wants to send me that person who is all about me, who will bring me closer to him, who will love me like Christ loved the church, like that love that we all want, that love that we're all expecting and waiting for will come. But it's really about taking that time to know you and allowing God to do it and trusting that he will. So all of that kind of ties in together. But it's in God's time. And so even with the person, it might not be as smooth as expected. I don't know. It's reality and godly, but not a fairy tale. So I feel it'll take work. Oh, yeah, definitely. It'll take work. And even with the right person, there'll be difficult moments and attacks. Oh, yeah. The enemy does not like marriage. So that's why I mentioned knowing how to pray, being able to pray, because the enemy, let's say you don't, and you feel as if like the enemy is attacking the marriage. You as a wife can go and pray. Like, if you can pray and you can cover him and you can bind all attacks and all of that, like those attacks that try to come towards your marriage, you're able to pray it and basically cover you and your husband. But, so the enemy is going to continue to attack. Like, with what I do now, I still get attacked, but it kind of rolls off of me at some point. Like, it just like, the enemy is coming for me. Oh, here he goes again. You get to that point where it's just like, okay, it's an attack. I know it, but let's come together and let's pray so that it doesn't affect us, so that it doesn't cause an argument, so that we are covered. So it's not saying, I think kingdom marriages are going to be fairy tale. It's going to be like Cinderella movie because it's going to be a love that you've never had before. But the enemy doesn't like marriage. He doesn't want people to stay married and have thriving relationships and strong households and units. He's against that. He wants division. So, know that the relationships will be like a fairy tale. I'm going to say that. But it doesn't mean that you won't have, things happen in a relationship, but you will have a strong, the goal is to have a strong foundation in that relationship so that you are not getting to a point like a typical relationship where you just meet each other, you date, you might hook up, and then you're like, we're together. You don't have a strong foundation. You weren't friends. You didn't court. You didn't date. Sometimes that happens, and then it's like, oh, well, this is crumbling and all this is happening. But when you do it God's way, you're going to have that strong foundation like a house. You're going to have a foundation. You guys are going to build on it, continue to build on it, court, engaged, married, you'll have that foundation. So when those attacks do come, you already have that foundation built. So you won't go down as fast as you would like in a typical relationship without God, like being in the center of it. So just know it happens. Like, the enemy does not stop. It's just a part of it, but you become stronger. So the attacks are weaker. If I could put it that way, like you will become stronger. So his attacks are weaker after a while. I've been dreaming more about my future, and I've been wanting everything about it. Yeah. So just know it's coming. And if I feel like for you, Riri, like, I feel like it's about, it's like a, I'm not gonna say a wall, but it's something that's keeping it from you really getting to where he's trying to take you. I saw this when you messaged me the other day, but I'm like, I'll wait and see. But I feel like he's telling me to say it now. I don't know if it's a release, like you don't want to do something, you don't want to let go, you don't, like, it's a little something between you and him that's stopping you from going all the way there and having everything. I don't know what it is. I don't know what, but it's something right there that you probably just need to cry out about or release or forgive. Maybe forgiveness. Maybe it's forgiving someone. You may not have forgiven someone, and he may want you to forgive them. I think it's forgiveness, unforgiveness. I think that's what it is. I don't know, but I just really feel like that's what it is. After the fast, I never asked for specific dreams, but God has given me a lot of dreams in general, not just marriage focused. I did desire God to speak to me more, but that's it. But God has been going very specific dreams. And like I said, the dreams are God's plan. So, and I mentioned this before, but when we dream, it's God's plans. It's the plans that he has for us. So if you ask God to speak to you more, and he's starting to give you more dreams, he's giving you his plans because then he wants you to use that as a catalyst to bring it back to him. So then you're, like I mentioned before, where I'm taking that dream back to him in prayer. And that way he's speaking to you in that dream. He wants you to write that dream down and bring it back to him so he can break it down to you in parts to give you the plans that he has for your life. So that's usually how dreams work. Now, I've said this before. Visions are more about what's on God's heart. So if you have a vision, this is what he's saying to you. This is what's on his heart. It's kind of like what's happening right now versus a dream being his full plan and what he wants to see happen in your life. So just take those dreams back to him and you should be good. I met a faker. He switched up and started talking that spirituality. Yep. And the fakers, like when you meet those people who pretend, like they can't do it for periods of time. Like, so just know when you see it, and if it goes there, it can play around for a while, but it's you know with us, like it's who we are. It's our lifestyle. Like for me, I can't fake what I do because it's just who I am. Like this is just who I am now. This is my lifestyle. I pray, I worship, I post positive things. Like, but someone who's faking just to get close to you, like they can't fake it for long periods of time. Like I found you can't fake it for very long because then you'll notice it and you'll be like, wait, well you were doing this, but you're not. Like it just becomes who you are. Like it's just your lifestyle after a while. So I don't think so. Yeah, I agree. He can't. I don't have time for distractions. Nope. That representation they sent always gets tired of playing the game. Exactly. It's the mask. Like when we talk about putting the mask on, like they could put that nice guy mask on, but eventually he's gonna get tired of it. He's gonna get tired of waiting. Like if you can hold off, like for me, like now, but you know, like if you are someone who usually like dates and you might hook up with them or whatever, like they're gonna get tired of waiting. And someone who's sent from God, they've already been patient. They've already been waiting. They know it. So waiting won't be an issue for someone who's sent from God because they're used to, God has helped, Gabriel, you're going to make this light fall. God has helped them become patient. So they know to wait for you. They know that a potential spouse or a wife, they will wait for it because they already have had patience worked into them. So it won't be a big issue as someone else who is just after one thing and just trying to get it and go. Like, because men who have been preparing and waiting for it, like, it won't be a big issue for them. They'll be able to wait. I pray that my husband is my best friend. And that's the key. Like that, Stephanie, the foundation will make your husband your best friend. Like when you guys come together and have that foundation and you're friends first and you court, he courts you and all of that. And like you're building that foundation to have a strong house. So that's where you become best friends because it's already built. You had that foundation. You guys are already close and knowing each other. And so, yeah, that is something that you want. You want your husband to be your best friend because you just know that you put in that work in the beginning. Like, if you wanted to build your own house and you just said, you know what, we can just build it. We don't need to make a plan. We don't need to look at any of this. Like, just build it. Just do it. It's not going to be as strong as you having like a blueprint, writing it out. These are some things that I like. These are some things I don't like. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Like, going into it that way with kind of like that blueprint that you would have on a house is what it's like when you do it the right way and do it God's way. Like, you have that foundation and it just works out in the end. I recently forgave my birth mom from Okay, so yeah, maybe that's what I saw last time, but it was like a block. It was like something like some unforgiveness. I don't know if it's anyone else or if you feel as if you did it, then you should be good. But that's kind of what I saw, and I'm like, I don't really know. I'll wait until I talk to her a little bit more. But yeah, if you forgave her and you forgave from your heart, not just from your mouth, but from your heart, like I truly forgive this person. I'm releasing this, like I'm forgiving them, then yeah, it's all about forgiving from your heart. Hey Chase, how's it going? Hey Ramona. So yeah, I hope that this has helped you guys. I mean, even in the title I put Kingdom Marriages because I didn't know where it would go. I don't know where most things go when I say it, but yeah, I hope that this has helped. And just know, where's my little note? Persevere. Don't give up. Don't let go. Don't stop praying. Don't stop worshiping. Don't just let go of it. Don't give up on your business. Don't give up on your ministry. Don't give up on your book. Like all of it. Don't give up on it because, again, I'm going to read this again. I feel led. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised. For in just a little while, like, yeah, just a little while, he who is coming will come and will not delay. So just know. I hope this has helped. A vision of a blueprint was how God showed me I wasn't supposed to take a modeling opportunity. Yes, like, and I go to God a lot and I'll say, Lord, can you give me the blueprint? Can you give me, and that's a word I use a lot. I use blueprint a lot. Can you give me the blueprint? You'll see me post things where I'm like, I need the blueprint. And he will give me, I'll show you guys. Like, when I talk blueprint, like, he gives blueprint. Like, I was working on something today. I'm working on a new workbook for, like, building your relationship. Like, this is perfect. I did this today. When I go to God and I'm like, Lord, what do I need to work on? Where am I right now? I'll go to him like, Lord, where am I right now? I need a blueprint. So this is like a workbook that I'm working on. It's going to be like $30 for a workbook to help build a relationship with God. But he gave me the blueprint. You guys can see it here. Like, he told me, put this as the intro. Put this here. Put this here. Put this here. He literally showed me the blueprint of what he wants me to do. And so a lot of what I do with him is like, Lord, I need the blueprint with my business. Lord, I need the blueprint. He gave me this blueprint for my entire business. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, if you go to him and you say, Lord, and I made 2 copies of this, like, you can see the difference. I put here and then I'm like, wait, I need some more details. Like, it's the same thing, but he will give you the blueprint. If you are confused about anything, like, he will, when you go to him and you sit, not just going to him and just saying, Lord, I need the blueprint, walking away, but if you go to him and you sit in his presence and you say, Lord, I'm stuck on this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what, like, I am lost. And I sat in his presence this morning and he gave me this entire blueprint for this workbook that I knew he wanted me to create because I have an online course, but it's a little bit more expensive. But I'm like, okay, Lord, I want to make something that is not as expensive for people who want to build their relationship with you, who want to get close to you. What can I create? And so this is the blueprint for that. He literally gave it to me this morning, and it's something that I'm about to work on, just so other people can like build their relationship with God and have everything. It's a workbook, but I stress it's so important to go for blueprint. I use that word a lot. So who was that? I can't remember who mentioned blueprint. I think it said faith. Love, faith. Yeah. So blueprint, model, anything, just asking for the blueprint. I promise you, like, I have so many blueprints. That's why you guys always see me with a journal. Because I will sit in his presence and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, Lord. This blueprint saved me so much time. And he gave this to me the other day about just like the structure of my business. But blueprint, if you ask for the blueprint and just sit and wait, he will, your book. I know, Riri, you asked about how to write your book. If you just sit there, if you go to him in prayer and ask him like, Lord, how should I lay out my book? He'll give you that blueprint of how to write it. So just know, blueprint is definitely a key word. So because we forgive, do we have to have a relation? Oh, no. You forgive from your heart so that you release it. It's like, for me, when I would forgive people from my heart, it was like I was taking a vest off. Like, I would forgive from my heart people who hurt me in the past. And it was like, during my time of prayer, it was like a vest was coming off of me. Like, I was letting it go and releasing it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have a relationship with them. Like, let go and let God kind of thing. But yeah, it's just about forgiving for you so that you can move forward. Because if you keep holding on to it and you don't let it go, it's just sitting on you. Like, like a weight, like a weighted vest is just on you because you're holding on to it. But when you're able to forgive from your heart and let it go, then you feel free. Like I've been in prayer where I can feel just lighter. Like I can feel myself getting lighter when I really forgive someone and let it go. So I definitely say no, you don't need to have a relationship with that person if it's family, but it's really for you releasing it and letting it go so you can move forward. Okay, no problem, Riri. Hey Candace, how's it going? Joyce, no problem. I've been asking God what the blueprint for 2021, because if I don't have a plan, then I'll be all over the place. He's been giving me ideas. Yep. So I always say, if you fail to plan to fail. And that's why I'm big on writing things out. Write the vision, make it plain, all of it. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to have a plan so that I know, okay, this is where I started. Okay, let me tweak things. Like you guys will see, like journal after journal, like write the vision. Like I have so many just plans and blueprints and things that I haven't even started working on. But I always have something that I'm working on because he's always giving me a blueprint for what to do next. So that's why I say in January, I feel like there's a shift happening because even this, like a blueprint. It may be in a different form, but I'm always going to him. Okay, Lord, what's next? What's the blueprint? This was the group when I made the group with the group of women. So, plan. If you fail to plan to fail. If you're just trying to keep things in your head and it's just like, oh man, I'm going to remember that. Like, you're not going to remember it because he gave you the blueprint. But then you got to try to figure it out. Like, what did he tell me to do? What did he say? Like, a journal, a notebook, because it's going to be hard for you to recall that information after he gave you that blueprint. So, yeah, Chase, if you've been doing it, keep doing it. I need the blueprint for my health. I need to know what doctor to see, what meds to take, what diet to eat, etc. I've said this for a long time. The Lord told me for a very long time, for months straight, to go vegan. And I've said this in other videos. He kept telling me to go vegan for like 8 months. And it was just like, go vegan, go vegan. I'm like, why am I going vegan? Little did I know is that he would have me do the Daniel fast now. Like, the reason he had me going vegan was to prepare me to be able to lead this Daniel fast challenge now. So 8 months ago, when he was telling me to go vegan, it was to get me ready for what he wanted me to do now, which was the Daniel fast, to bring more women closer to him and have breakthrough in their life while fasting and praying. I didn't know it then, but now I can look back and say that. And sometimes he will tell us to do things and we don't know why. We just need to agree with it and say, okay, Lord, you told me to do this. I know it's coming from you. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So for you, Misty, like spending that time and staying in his presence, because then you may pray and sit in his presence and write things down. And then you get up and you get a phone call, or you get on the computer and you see a doctor under the specialty that you need, or someone calls you like, hey, I had this recommendation. Like, that's how he works. But it's all about opening our mouth and going to him and saying, Lord, this is what I need. If we are not doing that, then it's hard. Like, he wants to come. We have to open our mouth and speak so he can come and intercede. But I'm telling you, it's been times where I'm like, Lord, I really need this, or I need to find a dentist. And I couldn't figure out the dentist that I went to. My dentist that I was looking for called me that day and said, hey, we wanted to know if you want to schedule a new appointment. I said, well, this is perfect. Another day for my son. It was like, man, I can't figure out where the doctor is or that I scheduled with. And then I had an email from that doctor that I scheduled with. Like, so we just need to speak it and say it. When we speak it and we take it to him, then he can come in and intercede for us. So I always say do that as well. My Destiny, pronounced Destiny. Okay. My name is Destiny. Well, hi, Destiny. I'm starting out as a blog right now, and I'm going to inbox you later. Yeah, that sounds good, Riri. Hey, Veronica, how's it going? He gave me one, too. Oh, yeah, Joyce. Joyce went on a 3 or 7 day fast. I can't remember. But Joyce, she went on a fast, and she disconnected social media. She left social media, and she came back, and he gave her a full blueprint for her entire ministry that she runs right now. Like, he did it for her. I remember that, Joyce. Joyce said, I'm getting ready to go on a fast. I can't remember if you did 3 or 7 days. But she went on that fast, and she came back with a blueprint. And her, like, it's taking off. She's about to do her challenge. Like, it all worked. He gave me one, too. God is amazing. I'm so excited. So, yeah, I know it worked for Joyce because he gave her a blueprint, and it was spot on. Like, she had everything that she needed. Yep, holding grudges is like talking poison and hoping they'll die. It's affecting you, not them, so let go. Yep, exactly. Once you let go, I'm telling you, it's like a weight. Like, it's a vest. It's a weighted vest coming off. I remember I remember when I finally did it and I just felt it come off of me. Like a lot of the times, like I'll be in prayer and things just come off. So it helps. I'm free. Thank you. No problem, Ramona. But you can give. But you can move on and move away, even if it's a toxic relationship, but pray for them. That's key. Exactly. And still praying for them. And it doesn't mean that they need to be in your life every single day. If it's a family event and you catch up, that's fine. But, you don't need to put yourself back, because then if let's say they're a toxic person who says things and they hurt you, you've already healed, you've been able to move forward, but then you bring that person back into your life and then you feel that pain and that hurt again, which could lead to unforgiveness all over again. Like it becomes a cycle. So you have to be careful about that as well. Cut out sugar, dairy, and gluten from my diet. I'm scared of eating now because I'm scared it'll flare up worse. My skin is dry and breaking out like ugly. I am scared to use products. And you know what? At one point my skin was breaking out a lot. But the Lord showed me what to use. I have an entire playlist of things that he would show me. Like things would just pop up. He would tell me what kind of, I don't know if you've taken that to him, like just on he cares about the smallest things about us, because my skin was breaking out a lot. And I would go to him in prayer like, Lord, I don't think that it's just superficial, but he wants us to feel our best. If we're going, he's having us go out but my skin was breaking out, and he showed me which mask to use, which facial cleaner to get. I don't know what it is, but I started using Fenty. That fat water really changed the appearance of my skin. But he led me to it. I kept seeing it. It kept popping up. And I don't know what happened, but I tried it out and it worked and cleared my skin up a lot. So, Misty, that's another thing. Quite honestly, I took that to him in prayer, and my skin changed a lot when he started to show me, it was more natural things to use. It would be aloe vera mask, or it would be certain things to eat. And I'm big on eating pomegranates with antioxidants. I crave pomegranates now. So he'll show you, but you just have to be open. Don't be distracted. I don't have a lot of distractions around me, so I'm able to see when he comes in with those little things that I need to do. So sometimes if our world is loud, it's harder for us to hear him. But if we can silence the world around us, it's very easy for me to say, wait, this might be God. Or even this little letter, if I were busy and running around, I wouldn't have caught this. But if we can silence what's around us, then we can hear him better. Pray without season. I keep having an appointment to see a dermatologist and it keeps falling through. So I wonder if I'm just not, it could just be natural, Misty. For me, my skin and even my hair, the Lord told me to get braids. He told me to get braids and do protective styles because I wanted to grow my hair. So I'm telling you, when you invite him into those areas in your life, Lord, I'm inviting you into this. I'm inviting you into my health. I'm inviting you into my skin. Even the little bitty things, he'll come in and just give you strategy and blueprint for it. So you may not need a dermatologist. You may just need a natural type of thing. And a lot of what he's been telling me to do has been natural. So 7 day, 1 week, you hear him so clearly. And he told me to talk to Johanna. I was like, oh yeah. See, Joyce and I, we've been working together for a while, but she came to me, didn't know me. She's like, the Lord told me to come to you. I feel led. He told me to come and speak to you. And yeah, she did the fast. I told her what the Lord had told me, and she did it, and she has taken off like a rocket ever since then. So just listening to him and just knowing that it's him quieting things down, being able to hear him, because when you have too much happening, distractions and all of this is happening, you can't hear him because so much is going on in the world that your world is too loud. So sometimes we have to fast to quiet it down a little bit. So that's what I say. Do you fast from vitamins too? Gabriel, that's my son. When I fast, do I fast from vitamins too? I do, because, unless you need them and you feel like you need them, but, I wouldn't say that there's a vitamin that I need on a daily basis, because when I'm fasting, the Daniel fast, I'm getting a lot of nutrients. I'm getting a lot of nutrients in me because I'm eating fruit and vegetables, drinking a lot more water, so my body is healing anyway when I'm doing a Daniel fast. So even the clothes that you wear, he will guide you. Yeah, even for me, how I dress has changed. He's just clear out your closet. Don't wear this anymore. Give this away. And so then it's him really like Joyce said, even how I dress has changed because I invited him into different areas. Because sometimes he wants you to dress where you're going, not where you've been. He wants you to dress for the role that he has you doing, like a lot of it. So yeah, the way you dress, what you eat, all of that, like all of that can change with him. So yeah, Joyce, great point. I've never fasted for more than 24 hours. I don't know how we'll do it on 7 days. Well, Misty, don't worry. You're in a December fast. And for whoever is on right now, if you are in a December fast, I'm going to put us together in Facebook Messenger next week. So I always do 1 week before. So this fast begins December 28th after the holidays. And so I always link us together 1 week before. So it'll probably be Wednesday or like that day before Christmas or something, or Tuesday. I'll need to look at my calendar. I have it on my calendar. But Misty, you are I'll stick to a Daniel fast setup. Yeah. The Daniel fast is a partial fast. So you'll still be able to eat food. I know Joyce did a water fast for 7 days. I do water fast. But the Daniel fast is a partial fast, so you're still able to eat fruit, vegetables, drink water. So it'll be a little bit easier, but you'll still have breakthrough and clarity. Go to him with the blueprint. So anyone who's in the December Daniel fast, just know I'm going to connect us together next week. And you guys will have everything that you need. So I'm excited for you, Misty. I think that it'll be really good for you. But in even eating, I think that if you are able to stick to this Daniel fast with fruit and vegetables, you'll see improvement like in your skin. For me, when I'm healthy and I'm eating healthy, like I like glow. But when my diet is not as great as it needs to be, that's where my skin starts to mess up again. Nah, I'm late. Yeah, oh, she says I'm late. A little bit. I'm actually about to hop off now. He will transform me. And that's it. Like, I talk about a transformation. Transform your life. Like, he will transform everything about you. Like, I look at my old videos. I don't even talk the same as I used to. Like, it was more of a slur in the way that I talked. I don't talk the same. I don't dress the same. I don't eat the same. A lot of it, it is a transformation. Like, in 1 year, if you guys go back on my YouTube and look at old videos, like, it's a full transformation in 1 year, because he transforms us into who we really are, like who we are on the inside, like, because sometimes we get stuck in who we've been in our past and all of it, and that affects us. But for me, yeah, it has definitely been a transformation inside and out. An inner transformation first, and that's what he does. He will transform us on the inside first, and then he'll work on the outside. But if you can transform the inside, just know, like, that's the most important part. Like, we don't want to look nice and then we're riding on the inside. Like, we want that internal work, that we're healed and we're whole and we are happy, and then he goes and he does like that external transformation. Stephanie, Hannah, I need to set up again a meeting with you, and I need to share something. Yeah, just reach out, Joyce. I know you've been working and busy, so you were on my mind today. I was thinking about you today, but I know you've been busy and getting ready for a challenge, and I know we just wrapped up the fast, but I was thinking about you today. Now, how does he speak to y'all? I need him to transfer me. Well, I mean, Misty, I'm a hearer, seer, knower, and a feeler, so I can hear him. I see visions. Sometimes I just know it's him, and sometimes I can feel his presence. You guys may hear me say I get goosebumps. I could literally have on a jacket and have goosebumps, so I know I'm feeling his presence. So it depends. He may communicate to different people in different ways. No, Gabriel. So it really just depends. You'll learn, the more time you spend with him, that's how you'll be able to know how he communicates to you. Like, the way that he communicates with you will be just like in a relationship with anyone. Like, when you start to meet that person, some people prefer text messaging. Some people prefer a phone call. Some people, you learn how that person communicates with you as you spend more time with them. So I always say the more time you spend with him, the better you'll be able to know. Like, my primary way that he communicates with me is visions. Like, if he wants to get something to me, I'm going to, like, you guys may see me looking up like this. It's because I'm seeing something, or I may look over here because I'm hearing something. But my main way, I'm a hearer, and I get visions. So if I'm looking around, it's because he's probably putting something into me that I need to say. It really just depends on how he communicates with you. I need him to transform me. Oh, it's coming. Just stay, as long as you stay close and stay near him. Like, it's work and it takes time, like any transformation. If we think about a butterfly, that transformation, that whole process of a butterfly transforming, it takes time. It's different steps. It's a process. Everything has to be put in place in order to transform from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And that's how it is with us. Like, we have to go through that process. We have to go through those phases. If we try to skip something, if a caterpillar tries to turn to a butterfly, their wings can get stuck if they don't do it the correct way. Like, we had a butterfly kit, but if they do not do things the right way, if the steps are not followed the right way, a butterfly could emerge and the wings are wrapped up in the webbing and all types of stuff. But it's a process, and we have to follow that process if we want to come out with that fully transformed butterfly. You are a true definition of God's word. Thank you. You inspire me. And that's all I do. Like, for me, I didn't have anyone to help me. I didn't have anyone to really look up to. I just was out on my own trying to figure things out. My whole last year, it was just me. God had me in isolation. He had me by myself. He had me away from everyone that I knew. He pulled me out of relationships. It was really just me by myself, and it was him and I. And he just, like, I had no choice but to lean on him because I didn't have anyone else. And it was like, I feel like he used that to prepare me for now, where he has more people who are really seeking him, going after him and wanting that fire. But for me, it was just like, okay, Lord, I know I need to depend on you. And he used that time of isolation to develop me. Just like with you guys, you may feel like you're isolated, but that is a time of training. That's a time to prepare. It's the time that he's getting you ready for where he wants to take you. So when I was in isolation, he was preparing me for now. He was preparing me to be prophetic. He was preparing me to be able to teach people. All of that was happening when I was hidden away in isolation. But then at the appointed time, he brought me out and said, no, I need you to go out and speak. No, Gabriel, I need you to go out and speak. I need you to go out and help women. I need you to go out and bring them out of the bondage that they're in. So just know, you may be hidden right now. You may be isolated right now. But all of it is a part of that process to get you where he's trying to take you. I don't hear a voice. I get random signs from other people, or when reading the Bible, or just a random thought. But I feel like other people hear him from the Lord. It may just be, like I mentioned before, I usually tell it's a step process of prioritizing him, spending time worshiping him, spending time praying, spending time reading the Bible. Like, there's a 5-step guide that I use to be able to hear him. From all the women who have worked with me, when they really get these things together, they're hearing him, they're walking in their purpose. Like, that framework works, and that's what I did when I was trying to figure things out. That framework works for me. It works for a lot of women that I've worked with and taught. I can send it over to you, Misty. I have like a little one-pager that I use, but for the most part, women who work with me and have used it to build their relationship with God have seen him and heard him. And a couple of the women who did it the very first time I launched it, they started doing it and they started to hear him. I don't know if Gabby's still on, but I know Gabby, Shayla, a couple other people tested it out and they started to hear him. But now they just did the Daniel fast and their businesses are taking off. God is putting them in their purpose. Like, God is providing for them. She doesn't have to pay like rent for her new place that she's going in for her business. Like, all from her being able to hear him. Like, it blows my mind. So just let me know. You guys send me a message. I have it saved on my phone, so I can just send it over to you. It's like my freebie that I use, that I send to people. So it's on my phone. So if you don't have it, just let me know. You can send it. I'll send it over to you. But I'm very sensitive to the spiritual world, and I can sense when evil is around. Oh, that's discernment. I do get shaky when I praise God. So it could be a gift of discernment. I'm like that too. If I go to hotels, I can like, when I go into a hotel, if I'm going outside of where I'm like different areas, hotels are a place where my discernment just picks up, and it's just, I have to pray and put blessed oil over me before I step foot into a hotel, because I can feel the spirits that's in that hotel. So I'm like that too, where I'm very sensitive to the spiritual realm. Like, prayer is definitely real for me if I'm in a hotel, because I can feel it and it's uncomfortable. Visions, dreamer, knowing him is key. Be painful, I know from experience, but I remember Paul's words exactly. I had a butterfly kit. Yeah, the butterfly kit is so cool. We used it this summer, and that's why I know, like, one butterfly was about to mess up the whole process. Like, the wings were about to be tangled up, but we were able to fix it and it came out. That's why I know about the whole process, because that butterfly was about to get messed up. Trust in God. Get ready. Exactly the place I'm at now. Isolated. Yeah. Send me too. So just let me know. Send me a message and I can send it over to you guys. But yeah, that isolation is no fun. But you have to lean into it. Don't try to go out and find someone or go date someone when you know God is calling you to be in a season of isolation or like a wilderness season. Like, don't go out and seek people if that is what he's calling you to do, because you're going to prolong the time that you're in isolation. Some people go out and seek it. Some people go out and they want to, oh, I'm just going to date this person. I'm going to hang out with this person. I'm going to do this, knowing that they're supposed to be isolated. And you just extend your stay in this this season of isolation. Like, you are just making it longer for you because he hasn't been able to get the lessons to you in that season of isolation because you're just prolonging it. So if you want to just get out of it, just go there, learn what you need to know. It's like school. It's like if you were in school, you go through the pruning stage. God is stripping things away from you. Okay, I passed that class. Let me go here. Then you go into a season of isolation or a wilderness season. Okay, cool. But if you don't pass the test, he's going to put you back into that class. Like, you're just going to keep getting yourself put back into this same class. Like, you failed the class. Like, if you were in 3rd grade and you failed, you're going to keep failing and going back into that same class until you learn what you're supposed to learn in that season or that lesson, so that you can go and say, okay, now I'm going into a birthing season to give birth to what God is calling me to do. But if you keep dating the wrong person and can't sit in isolation, you're not learning what you're supposed to, like, he's going to keep you right there. He's going to keep you right at that season. He's going to keep you right in that class. And you're not going to move forward. And you're going to be sitting here like, I've been stuck here. People are moving ahead of me. I've been stuck right here. Why is this person doing this and this other person? And I'm not. But it's because you didn't learn what you're supposed to do in this classroom. Like, you played around. You didn't move forward. And so now it's like, I can't move you to 4th grade if you didn't pass 3rd grade. And that's how it is. Like, some people get upset because they feel they're stuck. But it's really like, did you pass 3rd grade to move to 4th grade? And you have to be honest and ask yourself that question. Like, did I pass this? Did I pass this class? If you know you didn't, like, quite honestly, like, did I pass this class? No. Okay, God is just sending me back to this class again until I pass it. And give you the same lessons, give you the same everything in that class until you decide, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm going to move into this next class. I'm going to let go of this person. I'm going to move forward into whatever, like. And that's where people get stuck and they feel like their prayers are not being answered or God is not listening, because they need to really do a self-assessment and say, am I doing what I'm supposed to? Let's see. Extend your stay. That's the truth. Yep. So true. Yes, that's what I was starting to debate last year. The beginning of this year is when I called on the Lord, and I've been going through a lot this year. My sister's still into it bad. Yep. So it's like when you call out, if you don't delay, if you don't, I mean, he can do the same. And that's why I put it in my post. Like, he can do the same thing within a year for you. But I think for me, it was like, look, I don't have time. I need to get, where are we going, Lord? Like, that's how I was. I was really like, I don't want the life that I had, so I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go forward into where he's taking me. I'm not going to look back. I'm not going to question it. And I just ran. Like, I just let it go, and I just ran, and I let go of everything that was holding me back, because it was already holding me back. Like, there was no question for me. And I feel like he was like, okay, cool, I'm going to move her. I'm going to move her because I just kept passing classes. I didn't want to stay stuck. And so I think some people get stuck because it's like, oh, I'm going to be by myself. I can't do it. Oh, I won't have any money. I can't do it. I won't do this. But at the end of the day, God is not going to call us to do something if he doesn't have something better for us at the end. He's not going to call us to leave a person or a relationship if there's not a better relationship for us at the end of it. He's not going to call us to leave a job if there's not a better job for us. Like, it's just not how he works. He's not going to set us up to fail. So if we can rewire our brain to know, okay, if God is telling me to do this and I know it, there's going to be better at the end of this. And so for me, that's how I was. I was just like, look, I don't have anything. Everything that happened to me in the past was pretty terrible. So let's just go into what God is saying, because I tried everything else. I tried to do things my way. It didn't work out for me. So let me do things God's way. And hopefully it turns out for the better. And it did. You know, for me, he did a 180 for me and everything changed. Lord Jesus, help me. I'm tired of repeating. Yeah, like Ramona, that's the hardest part. Then you look back and you're like, man, I did do this over again. God told me to do this. I didn't do it. But just know, it's just right here. Like, he's just waiting for you. Like, you think that you're waiting on God, but he's just sitting there watching you at 3rd grade, waiting for you to pass the test to go to 4th grade. And then you get to the next thing that he wants to do. Hey, Bree. I don't know which part you saw, but I'm glad it helped. You are telling the truth. Look, this is what I'm telling you. I don't know what I just said. Like, I don't know what I just said, so I don't know what I said. Depends on if it's a dangerous situation to be around a family member. I do know that the Bible says to try to make amends. Oh, yeah, definitely. But sometimes, you have to think about yourself. If it's going to go back and hurt you and hurt your heart and get you back to square one where you were, something you need to think about. I'm moving forward. Yep, moving forward. Abusive relationship, and now I'm happily married to a God-fearing man. So he did bless me with that this year. Oh yeah, see? So like that's trust in him. Like when you see him do things like that, like calling you out of a toxic abusive relationship and he blessed you with a God-fearing man, for me it's like, I know God can do anything for me because he did this for me. So it like things like that increase my faith. Like when I see him doing stuff like that, I don't question him. Like that makes me move deeper into what he's telling me to do because I've seen him do it. And I know he'll do it again. So that's how I look at it. So I hope that this has helped you guys. I am going to hop off. For my YouTube people, I'm going to put the link to the video, the impossible video, because that helped me. Like my faith increased after I watched that. But it's just Cinderella, Brandy, and Whitney Houston. But that song really increased my faith because it's from impossible to it's possible. Know that God will do it. Persevere. Don't give up. Keep pushing, keep going, keep seeking him. I feel like he wants me to say, keep seeking him. Because I feel like sometimes people get discouraged and they stop seeking him. So I feel led to say, keep seeking him. And just know it's coming. I agree. Yes, babe. So I'm going to a message for you. Yep. So just send me a message. I will send it over to you guys. And if you are in the 10-day fast, then just know I'm going to connect with everyone. I don't know if he's going to have me do another one in January. I feel like a shift is happening in January. He's going to have me do something else. He's giving me some new blueprints, but I may put it how I just talked about that workbook. I may put it together in a way where it's easy to follow or something like that. But yeah, I have a couple of things I'm working on, but I will send that over to you guys because that will be key to you being able to hear him better and knowing that it's him. When does it start? I have 80. The Lord only allows me to put 80 people into the fast. That's a lot of people, but we had a list of maybe 120 women who wanted to join, but I'm only allowed to bring in 80. He cut me off at 80. Yeah, so I can only bring in 80 women, and I'm at 80. So if I send you a message on Facebook like, hey, I'm getting ready, I just wanted to know if you're interested, you're good to go. Totally agreeing. Might have no relationship. I also believe it. He has the best one for me, even at the job as well. It's been well over a year, and I'm so not complaining because this I know. As you said, all he takes away is his way of saying, I'm about to give you what you deserve. I'm trusting his ways. Exactly. And that, the way you put it, perfect. Like, you just know it. And that's the key. Trusting him. Trusting that he has more for you. Trusting that he will provide. And honestly, I am a living, breathing witness of it. Like, it was me trusting him to say, okay, Lord, you are taking me out of this. You are telling me to leave. I was like Abraham. Go to a place I will show you. I was literally Abraham, walking blind. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was insane for leaving my relationship. People thought I was losing my mind because I would say, God told me to do this. God told me to do this. Sorry, I can't do that. God told me to do this. And I would tell people that. People used to think I was insane and crazy. But I think people look at me now and they're like, okay, maybe God did tell her to do that. Because it's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy to just step out and be like, you know what? I'm going to go with God and say what God, like I know God told me to do. And a lot of people didn't agree with it. But sometimes you are a pioneer. You are a trailblazer. You are the person that he's calling to be the first to do it. And when that happens, people are going to say you're crazy. People are going to say, are you sure you heard God? You know, but if you are someone like that, you are called to be a pioneer. You're called to be a trailblazer. You're called to be the first person in your neighborhood, in your family, in your whatever, to be that person to stand up and say, no, God did it with me and he can do it with you. So just know, you know, if you feel like people are saying you crazy and he's calling you to do things and go places, just know, like, use me, go back, like, Go back to my old YouTube videos. Go back to my old posts. Go back to my old pictures. I still keep my old pictures up just so people can see the transformation from like me, middle fingers up, like like crazy. It's been a crazy transformation, but I keep it because I want people to see what God did with me, and he can do it with them. You are so grateful to have met you. Oh yeah, Kenyatta, like I know, like just, and even for you, I mentioned your story earlier, but that turnaround, like that, he turned it around so fast. Like Kenyatta is that one of the people where it was just like he came, he told me to pray, boom. And she's one of the people who have experienced that quick turnaround with him, where it was just like one moment I felt like this, and one moment it was a turnaround. So just know it's happening with everything you just said. I'm glad that's me. I'm glad that it has helped. That's me too. Yes, he did. So just know, I'm going to hop off because I don't even know how long I've been here. I took a break, but I hope that this has helped you guys. A lot of information, but I think that it's important for us to have these conversations. And I hope that this has encouraged you guys. Like I said, he used me as a little light bulb to come in and increase people's faith, to know that he's doing it, to know that it will happen. So he's the God of the turnaround. Exactly. And it will turn around for whoever this is for. So I'll put the links for my YouTube people, links in the description. You guys can check it out. And if you are interested in the link to the 5-step framework to being able to hear him and build your relationship, just send me a message. I will get it over to you. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be back this year for a prophetic word. But if you are not in our group, we have a Facebook group for women. It's called Ladies, It's Time to Rise Up. I am going live in that group. I don't know if you guys have joined, but I do go live in the group a little bit more. I'm going live this week to answer questions about building your relationship with God. So if you are not, you can search Facebook for Ladies, It's Time to Rise Up, or send me a message, whatever works. But yep, I've been continuing asking God for supernatural mind change. Yep. Thank you. Taking these words, I'm going to remain crazy till the time for me to be out of isolation is up. Yeah, just be crazy. Just know. People may think you are crazy. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was losing my mind. What's that? Pretty ass. Yep. So people may think you're crazy. You're not crazy. You heard God. You heard him. You know you heard him. I feel like he wants me to tell you that you heard him correct. You know you heard him. He spoke to you. He's speaking to you. Don't let anybody tell you that you're crazy. I said something to someone the other day where I was like, they came and they were like, oh, you know, when God started working with you, you increased my faith. And I'm like, you told me I was crazy. Well, yeah, I thought you were crazy, but then you increased my faith. So just know, they may call you crazy now, but months from now, a year from now, they won't call you crazy. So yeah, join the group. Send me a message if you need it, and I will talk to you guys later. He told me this weekend. He said, you hear me? You're not crazy. Trust me. You're not crazy. But I'll talk to you guys later.